Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm Shane.
And I'm Erica. We are hitting the road today. Well, not literally right this second, but, we're going on another journey with our friend Kecia from Kecia's Tour Life.
That's right. And for anyone who hasn't checked it out yet, Kecia's blog is just this amazing collection of experiences. It really puts you right there with her, on road trips, at music festivals, finding great food spots.
Yeah, just basically seeking out the fun in life, right? Which is kind of the core theme of her whole blog.
Exactly. It's her unique way of sharing, the energy of live events and travel. Really vibrant stuff.
We are taking a serious deep dive all the way back into the archives of Kecia's blog.
Yes, way back.
Yeah.
To a specific blog post from May 11th, 2018. We're zooming in on one particular night she spent at a comedy show.
Comedy, yes. This post is about a show Kecia went to at the Ohio Union, which is right there on the Ohio State University campus in Columbus, Ohio.
And like we said, the date of the event she's writing about is May 11th, 2018.
And the tour name was actually the Real Comedians of Social Media Tour. Fitting.
Totally.
And the three comedians headlining the ticket that night were KevOnStage, Tony Baker, and Tahir Moore. She tells us she'd been following KevOnStage specifically for about 2 years at that point.
Yeah, mainly on Facebook, she says. So since about 2016-ish.
Right. And her description of his impact isn't just like, oh, he's funny.
No, not at all. She says his videos had her in stitches and stomach pain from laughing so hard. That's a strong reaction.
That's more than mild amusement, yeah. That's a physical reaction to his comedy. It really tells you how much his online stuff was connecting with her.
It really does. It highlights the power of that digital connection, and she found his topic super relatable.
She mentions he covers simple, real-life, day-to-day happenings to current events. Think about that, connecting with people on the stuff they actually experience every single day.
Yeah, turning the mundane into something hilarious.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tapping into that shared human experience. But it wasn't just what he talked about. It was how he talked about it.
Right. Kecia specifically points out his ability to put an unexpected spin on things. She says he tackles subjects she felt you wish you could say.
Ah, yeah. Giving voice to those unspoken thoughts or frustrations, those funny little observations people have but maybe don't say out loud.
Exactly. Or maybe feel like they shouldn't say. That ability to take something relatable and then just twist it, elevate it, or phrase it perfectly.
With that slightly edgy but still clean vibe.
Yeah. That's a real comedic talent. It makes the audience feel like, yes, that's it. He gets it.
So naturally, when Kecia heard about this tour, bringing that specific humor to a live stage, well.
Her reaction was instant, enthusiastic. She says she did not waste time buying a ticket.
No hesitation at all. That desire to see the online phenomenon live was strong enough to make her act fast.
And she also noted that the tour itself, it clearly had some serious momentum even before it hit Columbus.
Yeah.
She mentions they had been selling out cities left and right.
Yeah, this wasn't some small, quiet run. This was a hot ticket, a highly anticipated event, proving its popularity across the country.
But here's a really interesting piece of her pre-show perspective. Kecia states she was not at all familiar with the other two comedians, Tony Baker and Tahir Moore, before this show.
So she was going primarily for KevOnStage.
Exactly. The one she knew and loved online. The other two were complete unknowns to her at that point, which, sets up the whole second part of her experience discovering new talent.
That's a perfect example of how a headliner can really introduce an audience to other artists on the bill, right?
Totally. You come for the name you know, and you might just leave with a couple of new favorites.
Happens all the time with music tours, too.
For sure. One more interesting piece of context about the tour that night, specifically related to KevOnStage. She mentions this prelude event called the Love and Laugh Hour.
Ah, yes, featuring KevOnStage and his wife, Melissa, who goes by Miss KevOnStage online.
Right. And the topic was centered around life, love, relationships, marriage, very much in line with his relatable brand.
Now, Kecia explains that because of her schedule, or maybe the location or timing, she wasn't actually able to attend that specific earlier session.
But this is key. She mentions what she heard about it from other people. She says they told her it was very real, down to earth, and worth the extra on the ticket.
Okay, so that tells us a couple of things. First, KevOnStage and his wife have this whole other dimension to their work, exploring relationship stuff.
Which fits perfectly with the relatable life happenings theme of his comedy.
Right. And second, that this specific prelude event was really highly valued by the people who did go. They saw it as a significant bonus.
Yeah, worth the extra cost. It suggests their audience isn't just there for the stand-up jokes. They're interested in their personalities, their relationship, their perspective on real-life issues.
It kind of extends that connection beyond just the punchlines, you know?
Definitely.
She reminds us she didn't know Tony Baker or Tahir Moore beforehand, but then makes this fantastic, really enthusiastic statement.
Which one?
She says, "Best believe after I've seen them, I immediately began following them on social media as well."
Ah, yes. That sentence is so revealing, isn't it?
Hmm.
It shows the immediate, tangible result of a great live performance for these internet-famous guys.
Right. She came for one, discovered two others she loved, and the very first thing she did afterwards was find them online.
It just underscores how the live show acts as this powerful discovery engine. It converted someone who only knew one performer into a fan and follower of the whole lineup, and it drove engagement right back to their core platform, social media.
Perfect feedback loop for them.
Exactly. And her overall description of the performance itself is just glowing, unambiguously positive. She calls the show simply hilarious from beginning to end.
No ifs, ands, or buts, just continuous laughter for her.
But she includes another detail that's really significant, especially when you think about KevOnStage's background and how his content is described. She emphasizes that it was family-friendly, clean comedy.
Yeah, she even uses all caps and an exclamation point for emphasis in her post. Clean.
That clean aspect was clearly important to her, and it's likely a huge draw for a big part of their audience.
It means the comedy is accessible without relying on, heavy profanity or explicit stuff or super controversial topics.
Right. And for Kecia, as a blogger sharing travel and fun experiences, noting this makes the show easily recommendable to a wider range of people, maybe including families. It aligns with that broader appeal of KevOnStage's brand that the other source mentioned.
It's a deliberate choice, right? It defines a specific lane within comedy humor that doesn't need shock value or adult themes to land.
And achieving that level of nonstop hilarity while keeping it clean, that takes serious skill in the writing, in the performance.
Absolutely.
And Kecia also highlights a crucial part of the post-show experience that really cemented her positive feelings.
The meet and greet.
Yes.
Yeah.
She notes, they were all so kind and took time to meet everyone after the show to take photos.
With a smiley face.
That is huge for building fan loyalty, especially for artists who've built that direct connection with their audience online already.
Taking the time to interact personally, shake a hand, take a photo, exchange a quick word, it makes the fans feel seen and valued.
In an era where maybe some bigger acts just vanish the second the show ends, these guys actively chose to reinforce that personal connection. The same connection many fans first felt through social media.
It makes the live experience feel much more intimate, more appreciative of the audience's support,
The final recommendation is just such a powerful summary of her whole experience. She doesn't just say, I liked it.
No, she says, if they are coming to your city, it's a must-see. You don't want to miss it.
That's a ringing endorsement, full of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
It tells you just how impactful that night was for her.
It really encapsulates her complete satisfaction, doesn't it? Discovering new comedians she loved, thoroughly enjoying the clean and hilarious show, and appreciating that genuine connection afterwards.
She went in as a KevOnStage fan and left as a dedicated follower of all three.
And then just the sheer accessibility through social media itself. Anyone with a phone can stumble upon Tony Baker's animal videos, watch KevOnStage's sketches, check out Tahir Moore's YouTube shows. You don't need cable or a club ticket just to get a taste of their work. And if we look at this whole experience through the lens of Kecia's blog, theme, music, travel, food, fun, attending this comedy show fits right in, doesn't it?
Perfectly. It's entertainment, fun. It involved going somewhere,
Yeah.
travel to the venue, and it provided this rich cultural experience she could then share with her readers.
It's just another stop on her ongoing journey of experiencing and documenting the enjoyable things in life. And this comedy show was clearly a standout moment, hilarious, memorable, and a great example of seeking out live cultural events.
Absolutely. And it really highlights how, even for artists who blew up online, live performance is still so critical, not just for making money, but as this powerful way to deepen the bond with their digital audience.
Turning online followers into dedicated in-person fans, just like it did for Kecia with Tony and Tahir.
Exactly.
Okay, let's bring this deep dive to a close then. We've journeyed back into Kecia's tour life archive, reliving that specific May 11th, 2018 comedy show in Columbus, Ohio. If you want to read more about Kecia's adventures in music, travel, and her take on other live events, you can check out her blog at keciastourlife.com.
And she's also active on social media. You can find her on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search for Kecia's Tour Life.
Well, that's our show for today. Remember, laughter is the best medicine.
Catch you next time.
See you then.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.